Hello and welcome to Rockanory. I'm Zoë Howe and it's been ages since I've posted a reading up, but this one is one I'm a little bit late for. I'm a few weeks late for. I wanted to pay tribute to Levon Helm from the band who sadly died a few weeks ago, and he's a real hero of mine, and I'm sure many of you. And so I wanted to read a little bit from This Wheel's on Fire, which is Levon Helm's book that he wrote with Stephen Davis. It's Levon Helm, The Story of the Band, and it is published by Plexus, and as always underneath this video you will find a link where you can buy the book if you haven't got it already. I'm going to read a little bit from the prologue because he's paying tribute to Richard Manuel, so there's a kind of poignant link there with what he's talking about. So okay, here goes. The band had always had a pact that if one of us died on the road of a heart attack or an overdose or a jealous boyfriend, or whatever might kill a travelling musician, the others would put him on ice underneath the bus with the instruments and haul him back to Woodstock before the police started asking questions. This flashed through my mind as I ran half-dressed down the motel corridor at 9 o'clock on the morning of March the 4th, 1986, in Winter Park, Florida. Richard Manuel and I had been laughing for years at stuff that wasn't even funny anymore when he went and took his own life. We were on what had been jokingly called the death tour because the gigs were in small places hundreds of miles apart. We tried to approach it with good humour, but I know Richard felt we weren't getting the kind of respect we were used to. This was 10 years after the last waltz, 15 years after we were playing the biggest shows in American history, 20 years after Bob Dylan had discovered us, and 25 years after Ronnie Hawkins had moulded us into the wildest, fiercest, speed-driven bar band in America. It had been almost 30 years since I'd left my daddy's cotton farm in Phillips County, Arkansas, to seek my fortune on the Rockabilly Trail. For sweet, ultra-sensitive Richard Manuel, the trail ended on a spring morning in Florida. Richard's wife, Arlie, was screaming hysterically, "He's dead. Oh my God, he's dead." Rick Danko and his wife, Elizabeth, were already in Richard's room, and I heard Rick kind of gasp and say, "Oh no, man." I went inside. The room was in disarray, the bed unmade, the TV on, an empty bottle of Grand Marnier on the dresser. The light was on in the bathroom. Suddenly I got a terrible sense of pure dread and felt surrounded by the chill of death. I wanted to run the other way as fast as I could, but instead I walked to the bathroom door and looked in. What I saw just broke my heart. That's for damn sure. It would have broken yours too. 5 days later, Rick and I and Richard's brothers carried his metal casket into Knox Presbyterian Church in Stratford, Ontario. Richard had been raised a Baptist, but the bigger church was needed to accommodate his sold-out show. The organist was Garth Hudson, who set the tone of the service with his old Anglican hymns. My mind was wandering through the prayers and scripture readings. Jane Manuel, Richard's ex-wife, and her children were there, dozens of Richard's relations, and many friends from our days in Toronto. It was hard to see so many beloved sad faces on such an occasion. I never did like funerals. Robbie Robertson had been asked to deliver a eulogy, but he didn't show up. Friends of Richard's remembered his laughter, his jokes, his scary driving, his love for music. Then Garth played I Shall Be Released, which Bob Dylan had written for Richard to sing. Through all 3 verses there wasn't a dry eye in the church. I had a funny experience while Garth was playing. I was thinking about Richard and asking myself why, and I clearly heard Richard's voice in the middle of my head. It came in as clear as a good radio signal. And he said, "Well, Levon, this was the one action I could take that was going to really shake things up. It's going to shake them up, then change things around some more, because that's what needs to happen." Now, to understand this, and I think I have come to an understanding, you would have to know what Richard had been through, although that would be hard to convey. In fact, you'd have to know what we'd all been through, the story of the band, from 1958 until today. Because from then to now, we went through the best of times as well as times that were full of pain and disappointment, but those bad times are important. They give you a chance to practice, listen, take stock, have a life, get your feet back on the ground, and maybe you'll live to tell the story. I'm going to leave it there, but that was an extract from the prologue of Levon Helm's book, This Wheel's on Fire, that was written with Stephen Davis and out on Plexus. That's been out a few years now, of course. When did that come out? Let me have a look. That came out in 1993, so yeah, quite a long time ago. But yes, rest in peace, Levon, and of course Richard Manuel and Rick Danko, and I hope you enjoyed the reading. Now go away and watch The Last Waltz. That's what I advise you to do. Until the next time.